Did you know that the average American home contains over 300,000 items? That number shook me, because when I looked around my own home, I didn't just see clutter. I saw years of stress, unfinished projects, and memories tangled in things I hadn't touched in years. As I got older, the weight of all that stuff didn't just sit in my closet, it sat on my chest. I felt overwhelmed, tired, and disconnected from the peace I once knew. That's when I stumbled upon something simple, yet surprisingly powerful: the way older Japanese people clean. They don't just tidy up, they move with intention. Every gesture is calm. Every item has meaning. Their homes feel like temples of peace, not storage units for stress. So I made a decision. For one full week, I would follow 15 traditional Japanese cleaning habits, just as elders in Japan do every single day. And what happened next truly surprised me. Before we begin, I'd love to know, where are you watching this from? And what time is it for you right now? Please let me know in the comments below. I truly look forward to reading them. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. A cultural and emotional foundation, Danshari Ma, and a story that brings it home. When you step into the home of an elderly person in Japan, something feels different. The air is calm. The floors are clean enough to sit on. There's space, both around you and inside you. This isn't accidental, it's intentional. At the heart of Japanese tidiness is a philosophy called Danshari. It roughly translates to refuse, dispose, and separate. But it's not just about throwing things away. It's about freeing yourself from the invisible weight that clutter brings. In Japanese culture, especially among the older generation, cleaning isn't a chore. It's a form of self-respect, a ritual of renewal, a way to bring peace to the heart through the space around you. And then there's the idea of ma, jian, a beautiful word that means the space between things. It teaches us that emptiness isn't something to fear. It's where light lives. It's where calm breathes. It's what allows life to flow. I remember reading about an 86-year-old woman living alone in Kyoto. Her home had just 4 sets of clothes, a small futon, and a single shelf with her favorite books and teacups. She said, "When I clean, I can hear my heart again." That stayed with me. Compare that to what many of us experience in America. After our children leave home, the house stays full, but the heart starts to feel empty. Boxes pile up in garages, closets overflow. Yet there's a silence that feels heavier than the clutter itself. So when I decided to follow 15 Japanese cleaning habits, I wasn't just cleaning. I was searching for stillness, for clarity, and maybe even for a bit of healing. Day 1. Making the bed like the Japanese. The ritual of folding away your futon and why it's more powerful than it looks. The first habit I tried was simple: make the bed. But not just by pulling the covers up. In traditional Japanese homes, especially among elders, the bed isn't a permanent piece of furniture. It's a futon, laid out on the tatami floor each night and carefully folded and put away each morning. This first morning, I did something I had never done with real focus before. I woke up, stretched, and instead of stumbling toward coffee or my phone, I stood quietly and folded the blanket. I straightened the sheet. I fluffed the pillow. I smoothed the fabric with both hands, just like I had seen elderly Japanese women do in videos. And as strange as it sounds, I felt something shift. There was no fanfare, just stillness. I realized that I wasn't just tidying up, I was setting the tone. It felt like closing the chapter on night and gently opening a new one. Morning. In Japan, many elders believe that how you begin your day is how the rest of it will unfold. They treat even the act of folding a blanket as a gesture of mindfulness. At first, I questioned the point of all this. I used to think, what's the use? I'm going to mess it up again tonight anyway. But after just a few days, I noticed something subtle. I was more alert in the mornings, more aware of my space. I started brushing my teeth while standing up straight. I took deeper breaths. I walked slower. I felt more grounded. There's science behind this too. Psychologists call this a keystone habit, a small action that creates momentum for other healthy choices, like making your bed, which can lead to drinking more water, eating a better breakfast, or sticking to your walking routine. Small wins add up. In Japan, cleaning isn't rushed, it's done with grace. And many elders describe it as a way to show gratitude for the home, for the morning, and for life itself. I remember watching a short documentary about a 92-year-old man from Osaka. Every morning he folds his bedding and bows slightly to the sun peeking through his window. It reminds me that I'm still here, he says. After just one day, I began to understand. Folding the bed wasn't just about neatness. It was about presence. It was about honoring the body that had rested, the floor that had held me, and the new day that had begun. 4 morning habits that transformed my day, simple actions, deeply rooted in Japanese tradition, that reset your mood and energy. By the second day, I noticed something interesting. Japanese elders don't just clean in the morning. They wake their homes up. There's a softness to it, a rhythm. Here are 4 habits I tried, all before 9 a.m., that completely shifted how I felt, not just in my body, but in my mind. The first one? Wiping the floors by hand. No mop, just a damp cloth and your body. I knelt down and began wiping the wooden floor of my hallway, slowly, deliberately, with both hands. In Japan, this isn't punishment, it's tradition. In many schools and temples, even children and monks clean the floors this way. It's called suji. At first, my knees ached, but after a few strokes, I noticed my breathing slowed. My arms moved in a steady rhythm. My mind quieted. It felt like a moving meditation. The second habit was opening the windows, even if just for 10 minutes. Elders in Japan do this as a daily ritual. It's believed that fresh air helps cleanse the energy of a room. But beyond that, it lets sunlight in, which boosts serotonin, improves mood, and helps regulate sleep cycles. As the cool breeze entered, I felt awake, not just awake, but alive. The third habit? Cleaning the sink. Yes, just that. In Japanese homes, the sink isn't left with water spots or stray dishes. It's wiped clean, polished, and dry. This is done not for guests, but for yourself. When I wiped down my kitchen sink after breakfast, I felt oddly satisfied. Like I had finished a small task with care. It gave me the same peace you feel after making a list and checking one thing off. There's a concept in Japan called ki, the life energy in a space. And when things are clean, ki flows better. That might sound poetic, but emotionally it's true. And the fourth habit? My favorite, tea after cleaning. Not as a reward, but as a pause. After I wiped the sink, I brewed a small cup of green tea, sat down quietly, and looked out the window. No phone, no rush, just me, the tea, and the morning light. In Japan, elders often begin their day this way. They believe in creating a peaceful transition from sleep to activity, not jarring alarms, not rushing out the door, just small acts of care. After trying these 4 morning habits, I noticed I felt more stable throughout the day. My mind wasn't racing. My body didn't feel as stiff. I even slept better that night. Cleaning like meditation. How silence, slowness, and presence turned chores into calm. The fourth day, something inside me changed. At first, I was simply following the list. Make the bed, wipe the floor, clean the sink. But by midweek, it didn't feel like chores anymore. It felt sacred. One of the most surprising Japanese habits I tried was cleaning in silence. No music, no podcast, no background noise, just the gentle sounds of cloth on wood, water in a bucket, feet moving slowly across the floor. And in that silence, something unexpected happened. My thoughts got louder at first, then softer, then came stillness. Japanese elders often treat cleaning as a form of meditation. There's no rushing, no multitasking. Every movement has purpose. Every breath, a rhythm. This is rooted in the practice of osoji, a deep cleaning tradition, especially before the new year. But in many homes, this mindful approach is practiced daily. It's not just about getting rid of dust, it's about letting go of tension, too. One morning I cleaned the windows, not with a spray bottle or paper towels, but with a soft cloth, dipped in warm water. I wiped slowly, following the sunlight as it shifted across the glass. Outside, the trees swayed gently. Inside, I felt calm, not because the windows were cleaner, but because I was quieter. There's a reason Japanese temples, even today, are cleaned entirely by hand. It's not about efficiency, it's about presence. In contrast, I thought about how we often clean in the West, fast, distracted, while thinking of 10 other things. We treat our homes like tasks to manage, not companions to care for. But this week, something shifted in me. When I cleaned the same corner of my kitchen for the third time, I didn't sigh with boredom. I noticed how my hand moved, how the cloth smelled, how the light hit the wall. I felt gratitude for that moment, for the stillness, for the time. I began to wonder, how much of life do we miss simply because we're rushing to finish it? A Japanese proverb came to mind. Isogaba mawe. When in a hurry, take the long way around. It reminded me that slowing down isn't a weakness, it's a strength, and cleaning slowly with care gave me something I didn't expect: peace. The places we forget to clean, and why they matter. The quiet power of attention, why even the smallest spaces deserve care. By day 5, I realized something surprising. It wasn't just about how I cleaned, it was about where. Japanese elders have a quiet habit of paying attention to the places most of us overlook. And when I started doing the same, I discovered something unexpected. Those small corners, they hold energy. And when they're cared for, so are we. One of the first places I cleaned was the light switches and door handles. Tiny, right? But think about it. How many times a day do we touch them? And yet, how rarely do we wipe them down? In Japanese homes, these surfaces are gently cleaned with a soft cloth, not just for hygiene, but as a sign of respect for the objects that serve us. As I moved from room to room, I felt like I was saying thank you with my hands. Next, I turned to the windows. Not just the glass, but the frames, the tracks, the tiny corners where dust gathers silently over months, even years. I used a soft brush and a damp cloth, slowly, carefully. And when the light came through afterward, it felt brighter, not because the sun changed, but because I did. I had made space for it. Another quiet detail I loved: folding towels with care. In Japan, even bath towels are folded neatly, sometimes with the precision of origami. Not because anyone is coming over, but because it calms the mind. A folded towel says, "You are safe here." That feeling matters, especially in older age when routines can feel dull or repetitive. Bringing beauty to them is a form of emotional nourishment. Then, I reached the room many people dread, the bathroom. But instead of rushing, I slowed down. I lit a stick of incense, just one. I opened a window. I cleaned every surface, then placed a tiny green plant on the sink. In Japan, even the bathroom is treated with softness. It's not just a toilet, it's part of the home, part of you. When I finished, I didn't feel exhausted. I felt connected to my space and oddly to myself. These weren't deep cleaning sessions. I wasn't scrubbing grout with a toothbrush. I was simply paying attention. And that alone brought warmth back into my home. A home that had started to feel like a storage unit was beginning to feel like a sanctuary. What changed after just 1 week? The subtle but powerful shifts in body, sleep, and spirit. When I started this experiment, I thought I was just going to clean. I didn't expect my body to feel different. I didn't expect my sleep to deepen. I didn't expect to feel emotionally lighter. But after 1 week of following Japanese cleaning habits, something had shifted inside and around me. First, let's talk about the physical changes. I noticed my shoulders weren't as tight. I usually carried tension in my neck and upper back, especially in the evenings. But by day 6, I was moving more freely, probably because I was bending, stretching, and walking throughout the day without even thinking of it as exercise. In Japan, many elders don't go to the gym. Instead, they move naturally throughout the day, wiping floors, carrying laundry, sweeping the garden. All those small movements add up and help prevent the muscle loss and stiffness that so many older adults struggle with. I also slept deeper. Not longer, necessarily, but better. My bedroom was clearer, my evening routine calmer. The act of folding my bedding and cleaning the sink before bed seemed to tell my brain the day is complete. It gave me closure, which is something we often don't realize we need. Emotionally, the changes were even more surprising. I used to feel a kind of low-level anxiety in my own home, like I was always behind, always surrounded by things I needed to fix, finish, or throw away. But after a week of slow, intentional cleaning, I began to feel in control again. Not over everything, but over my own environment. And that mattered more than I thought. One evening I stood in my kitchen, freshly wiped down, and smelling faintly of green tea. The light was soft. The towel was folded just so, and for the first time in a long time, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't flashy, but it was real. I also felt pride in the way my home looked, yes, but more in how I had shown up for myself, day after day, small task after small task. It reminded me of something I read from a Japanese elder. The soul needs order too. After 7 days, I was beginning to understand what that meant. And so I started asking myself a new question. What if these habits weren't just an experiment? What if they became part of my life? The link between cleaning and longevity in Japan. How simple daily motion may be a hidden key to living longer and living well. We often hear about how the Japanese live longer than almost anyone else in the world. But it's not just about genetics or green tea. It's also about movement. Gentle, consistent, meaningful movement. One of the most overlooked reasons for Japan's incredible longevity, especially among elders, is how physically active they stay through everyday life. Cleaning isn't outsourced. It isn't rushed. It's woven into the rhythm of the day. I came across a study from the University of Tokyo, which showed that older adults who engage in light housework, like sweeping, wiping, folding, and gardening, experience better mobility, stronger muscles, and reduced risk of falls compared to those who don't. It doesn't have to be strenuous. In fact, it shouldn't be. It's the consistency that matters. I thought about the 90-year-old man I saw in a documentary from Okinawa. Every morning, he sweeps the front steps of his home, trims his plants, and cleans the kitchen before breakfast. It's not a workout, it's just life. And he's still standing tall, both in body and in spirit. This way of living builds what the Japanese call ikigai, a sense of purpose. When you clean, not to impress others, but to care for your space. When you fold laundry, not because you have to, but because it's a way of honoring your body, you begin to feel more connected, more alive, more anchored. And that sense of purpose, it's medicine. It fights off feelings of uselessness or depression that often show up in later life. It replaces them with momentum, dignity, and the gentle pride of knowing, I still take care of my space. I still take care of myself. I felt it too. After 7 days, I wasn't just cleaning. I was participating in my own well-being. I was no longer letting life pile up around me. I was in it, present, awake, and engaged. And something else happened. My appetite improved. My posture was better. Even the little aches in my knees and wrists felt easier to manage. It's not magic, it's just movement. And the right kind of movement, natural, calming, consistent, can change how we age. That's the secret I discovered. It's not about cleaning to reach some ideal of perfection. It's about cleaning to stay connected to your home, to your body, and to your life. So I started asking myself, which of these habits should I keep forever? And that's what I'll share next. The ones that truly changed me, and how you might gently begin your own journey. No matter your age, the habits I'll keep, and the ones you might try too. Not everything stayed, but the ones that did changed everything. When the week ended, I didn't keep all 15 habits. That wasn't the goal. What I did keep were the ones that felt like medicine, the ones that made my days feel softer, steadier, and somehow warmer. Here are a few that stayed with me and might gently find a place in your life too. Folding the bed in the morning. This is still the first thing I do each day. Not because it has to be done, but because it sets a quiet rhythm. It tells my body, we're starting now. It's a simple gesture of care, like lighting a candle or opening a window. And on hard mornings, it reminds me that even small order can bring calm. Cleaning the sink after dinner. This one surprised me. It takes less than a minute. But there's something about wiping the sink dry that gives the kitchen a sense of peace. It's like closing a book at the end of a chapter. When I do it, I sleep better. It's as if my home says, all is done. Rest now. Wiping the floor by hand once a week. Not every day, just once a week. I use a damp cloth and move slowly, sometimes listening to the breeze through the window. It's a full body movement that feels more like stretching than scrubbing. I don't do it to make the floor shine. I do it to connect with the space I live in. The cup of tea after cleaning may be the most healing part of the whole routine. After any cleaning session, big or small, I sit quietly with a warm drink. No phone, no multitasking. Just that pause, that moment, that space. It's like pressing reset on the day. And perhaps the biggest habit I've kept isn't an action, it's an attitude. I now try to clean, not because the mess bothers me, but because the quiet matters to me. There's a difference. If you're thinking about trying any of this, start small. Choose one habit. Try it for a few mornings or evenings. Don't rush. Don't aim for perfect. Maybe it's wiping your sink at night, or opening your windows to let the morning in, or folding a towel with care, just for you. Japanese elders don't clean to chase some ideal. They clean to feel grounded, to create a space where the heart can breathe. And you can do that too, starting with just one gentle habit. If this week taught me anything, it's that care doesn't have to be loud, it doesn't have to be fast, and it doesn't need to impress anyone. Sometimes care looks like folding a blanket with two quiet hands, or wiping a window just so the light can come through, or sitting in your freshly cleaned kitchen, tea in hand, heart at ease. That's the quiet gift I found in these 15 Japanese cleaning habits. Not all of them will be right for everyone, but even one, just one, might make your day feel lighter, might help you breathe deeper, might help you feel a little more at home in your own life. So go gently, and remember, you don't need a perfect home, just a space that feels peaceful to you. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If this video brought you comfort or even just a little curiosity, please subscribe so we can keep exploring together. And one important reminder, this video is not medical advice. Health-related information on YouTube may not apply to everyone. If you have concerns about your health, please consult your doctor or a medical professional. If you feel you're experiencing a medical emergency, call your local emergency number immediately.